I say that there's still a majority of teams that do, of course, always communicate together in the draft, but sometimes it's a lot more, it still reverts back to the person who's usually drafting. So sometimes on teams it doesn't matter, sometimes on other teams it does. Like I know some people that are just set, they'll draft and there won't be a whole lot of talk in between. I actually really don't mind this pick. I feel like Morphling is one of the few people that can't really utilize. I say that. I mean, he's got very low attack range, so it's hard to kind of play around with the Iron Shell without getting harassed a lot.
10 seconds remaining.
But the thing that I want to say is that a Darkseid really sets up the lane. Like the enemy's carry is pretty much going to free farm a lot of the time, because what Darkseid does is he either shoves in the waves with the Iron Shell, so the enemy carry just farms under the tower, or Darkseid's just going to cut the wave. The good thing is that Morphling and Cuddle, I mean, that lane is incredibly weak. So if Darkseid gets paired up with a 4, they need a melee hero right now. Like Darkseid can't really frontline. You're more like counter initiation, I think, in my opinion, on Darkseid. Like you can frontline, but it definitely doesn't feel too strong. Like I'd love like someone like a Nyx or something. Just give them more lockdown.
Dire team back.
They do well. If that's the case, what do you do here? So what, you put the dazzle on? You put the dazzle on, nothing to say. You give the Ember over to Sylar. Seems like their lanes look really awkward though for EHOME. Like Invictus have a lot more better of a lane setup. It's just the Centaur Shaman, and they also have this last pick that IG constantly keep prioritizing. Now I see a lot of teams, or in my opinion, I think Radiant is the better side, just because Roshan control. I think right now Radiant has, I think Roshan has had so much value be increased lately because of how fast games are ending. That extra life on a core can just be like team fight winning, and you can just, it's so easy to snowball right now and very difficult for teams to get map control back with how, you know, the losing the outposts, the bounties, any gold across the map, Roshan as well if you can't take objectives. So it is very difficult to be able to find that comeback mechanic. I mean, always finding kills, yes, you know, that's a beautiful thing about Dota, is that it's a game that has very good comeback mechanics, just killing wise, but if you can't get map control, it's going to be very difficult. And that's one thing Roche enables as well. If you're raiding, you're able to control the top side. You also just have this extra life. You can brute force down tier 2 towers. But regardless of EHOME, they're looking to outround the draft here. Looking for that cream of the crop sort of pick that's going to be able to take this game from Invictus Gaming's hands right now. I mean, it's just a question of what they want to do. Do they want to put the Ember mid? Do they want to put him safe lane?
Radiant team pick.
So that answers the question. Although I say that, I have still seen some people try and put the troll mid, but I believe it's going to be troll. But now they might, I think you OD here if you're IG, without a doubt. OD Morphling might be a little too slow. Emo would have to play an aggressive OD, more making space instead of kind of farming up the jungle. But it absolutely destroys the troll and the Ember, like absolutely destroys those heroes. And OD is going to have a free game. Honestly, the saves just mean he can it means he can right click more to stack up the sanities. You even through the grave, you can just negate that duration with the Astral. I mean, it looks beautiful here. You know, IG could still be looking for some shenanigans. Like they can still like put the Morphling mid if they want to. Against the Ember, it's a pretty good matchup. And yeah, if they're going to do that, it looks like. That's a good thing about the Morphling, is that you can put him against the Ember and you actually have a relatively good time. I do kind of prefer Flyer to be playing the Morphling. But looky here. Looky here. So Lycan again. He did get nerfed again. So it looks like poor old Ozfrog just doesn't want Lycan to see the light of day right now, which is interesting because I feel like that hero hasn't been relevant in a long time. But no, he got his shapeshift cooldown increased by, it looks like 15. at each level. 15 seconds at each level, which is a bit crappy. It will be the Sylar Dazzle as well. They're going to put... So they... Wow. They're going to put the Ember on the 4. I did not recognize until now. So they're going to put the Ember on the 4, the Darkseer on the 3. No surprise. Sylar on the... So nothing to say is the win condition this game. I think EHOME are going to struggle. Because Troll's going to be the only damage output. And EHOME right now are kind of relying on the Ember to tank up like all the magic damage. I think Darkseer to have a bunch of utility. And then Dazzle and Shadow Demon as well. I don't know if I trust the Dazzle's damage output to be that high, to be honest. And right now they don't have any stuns to be able to enable the Troll Ward. So I just can't see how they're going to give Nothing to Say a good enough time to start. I mean, what they're doing here is that they're dodging the Morphling matchup against the Ember, which is what we brought up is very, very bad. It's the fact that the Adaptive Strike is able to pretty much just absolutely destroy the Flame Guard throughout the early levels. It's a really nice matchup, and Ember doesn't really hold any kind of kill threat onto the Morphling. Like, you can always waveform away unless you've got a couple more movements. And I wonder how they're gonna play this. So it looks like Flyfly is gonna go mid as well. Okay, so they're gonna put Flyfly mid. Emo is gonna go down to the bottom side here. They're gonna and so it still will be the Morphling up against the Darkseer, which I think is going to be... It's gonna be interesting, actually.
30 seconds to battle.
Because they don't... I mean, if they hold the tri-lane, how is... Centaur, I think, is going to have a rough time versus Dazzle, just because even though that poison... Dude, poison touch, like, if it's theoretically a 1v1 matchup, which it's not going to be, I mean, we'll probably see... It looks like Shaman's actually going to play down bot. Oh, I hate the bug. It's really awkward. But even then, like, Centaur kind of likes getting right-clicked by heroes because you want to build up the retaliate. But it feels like he's just going to lose a lot of HP. And the issue is right now is that the region keeps getting nerfed. I mean, whether Ollie wants to go for this headdress or not, you see JT hasn't picked up that Ring of Trust that we're seeing pretty frequently on a bunch of offlane heroes, even Centaurs in particular. So this is going to be a super interesting matchup as we see the Troll Warlord going head to head against the Lyke and mid, you know, not really seeing these heroes kind of be played mid at the moment. But Nothing to Say is a relatively decent way to be able to kill the wolves. Just spam out a couple of the axes here. But they should be fine. I mean, both mid laners, I imagine, are going to trade. If anyone's got more kill potential, it's going to be the Troll. But they're just going to kind of farm, have as much regen as possible. But it's more the side lanes where the action's going to be. The Ember Spirit position 4. And what I really think they're just wanting to do, like I said, Courier? Oh, Faith Beyond's got a win lace here, so we'll be able to catch up. Karkar's not going to punish him either with a couple right clicks. So what they're doing is they put the Ember on the 4 to dodge the Morphling Ember matchup mid, which it was obvious that it was going to be the case because Emo's playing it. And it's also, you really want to have a melee position 4 with the Darkseer. It's very awkward to play the laning stage if it's a range position 4, because then you can't give him Iron Shell. Like, he doesn't want to be on top of the enemy team. It just, you know, that's how range heroes work. You don't want to be on top of on someone else. And you see Faith Beyond's really struggling at the moment. I mean, this is a big issue. Level 1, he's gonna have to TP up pretty soon, but I think this might just be first blood down here. He's gonna try and... Ooh, Kaka went actually around the crystal there, so we'll be able to TP up. Gets a fair bit of health back too. They've got a small camp. The issue is that Kaka's got boots. Maybe he might be able to get to the small camp fast enough. Emo needs to shove out this wave though. Get under their tower as fast as possible, because there's a double wave that's about to come. I don't think holding it static is going to do much, considering they'll have majority of the creeps. Maybe he can... Wait, we'll see. So 2 full waves here. Oh, that's beautifully done. Did I even get the hard camp pull? It looks like they cleared it a little fast because of the iron shell, but even then. How's this top side going? JT's carefully actually. Why still only level 1 as well. So we see the supports having a little bit of a rough time. 3 out of the 4 supports right now level 1. I mean, it's still super early on, but sorry, not 3 out of them. It's the Darksy actually, who's still the level 1. I was gonna say there's a bunch of levels that aren't getting picked up at the moment, but I'm really intrigued on how Sylar does itemize this game. Like, this is theoretically, you know, a position 1 dazzle. I imagine they'll give the farm priority over to Nothing to Say. Already we see Fly Jungling. You know, this is a hero that's actually able to excel in the jungle just because of how fast you farm, and you don't need a lot of regen. Like, you put your levels in Feral Impulse, so you don't need to bring out any Tangos or nothing. He only had those pulled and a Selv, which he hasn't even gone through just yet. So he'll just maybe shove out the lane as best as a Lycan can possibly do, and then go back in jungle. You do see he kind of struggles versus the troll. That's a thing. Like, oh, actually top. Why? They're going to be able to push him back here if Oli can get in range. Fortunately, JT though does have he's got some 13 stacks here, but they are instead stacking up their own poison charges. Why? Gets 5 over onto the Centaur. 3 on Oli as well. Looks like he's just going to try and harass them back here, but Why's going to be careful. They're going to try and bait. Actually, we see first blood down bot, but we'll keep our eyes up here as Y's putting a lot of attention over to Oli. And we'll just get a TP out. So apologies. First blood down bot. Looks like Emo and the gang, Emo and Kaka, going to be able to bring down the Ember Spirit position 4 here, who was potentially contesting that pull onto the small camp, but even then, you got to be careful. This was my issue about the lane against the Morphling. Like, I mean, Darkseid literally just gives anyone free farm. Like, it doesn't even matter. I thought Morphling, maybe if they could put more pressure, looks like the Ember was struggling a little bit. I thought they'd have actually a decent matchup in regards to Morphling, like level 1, level 2, really struggles, so it's going to allow Darkseid to get these early levels, but I mean, look at the damage already. Xinq's got to be careful here. Emo's got Waveform to follow up, and this would just be a second kill for him right before the bounties as well, so that's a bad timing. They do have vision of that bounty if they want to go get it, but they're going to leave top on an island now. So Sylar's left to his own devices here up against JT, where he is able to do really well solo. But the question is that Kaka, can you bring him down? You're on top of pretty much 2 full crit waves here, so Faith Beyond's taking a lot of damage. He can turn around with the other shock, and Faith Beyond might actually drop here. You see, they just can't win that fight there. So they'll show the Shadow Demon, who's gonna wrap around, maybe get a ward behind the tier 1 and tier 2 tower in between there. And he will. Okay. So this is, I mean, this is the thing though. Like, you leave top, now JT doesn't get pressured up by his support, so he can go cut the wave. And then, what is he really going to be able to do bot? Maybe they can just keep finding the Shaman kill, as we're going to see Kaka end up dropping. He's hunting the Lycan, okay. So apologies, he's hunting the Lycan right now. I was going to say, where is he? But he's up to the northern side. So they drop an Observe Ward. Lycan knows that he can't farm this kind of bottom side of the map though, because that's where the Darkseid is going to kind of cut the wave and drag it to the creeps potentially. So he knows there's no point farming there, otherwise he's going to get scouted. And I wonder how Oli wants to skill build this game. You know, a lot of the time we don't really see too many points in the Illumina, but I think because the Coddle is already playing at that middle wave, you really want to just try and get the Illumina at maybe level 2. If you can go greedy enough for level 3, then you're really happy with that. Because the Coddle, the beautiful thing about this hero is that you just play the dead lane, you play lanes where you're able to shove out the tower and get a little bit of gold, and not only gold but also experience as well, as we see Emo kind of getting ticked down here. But the beautiful thing is that you're actually able to kind of get a couple of items though, which is really awesome. You know, we saw the Aghanims, you know, on Liquid when they had that run GH, the Coddle. You know, we saw that on a lot of people, but then it kind of switched up to the Refresher Orb when the ulti got changed, and then we saw just a bunch of Coddles going for like utility, like the Blink, Force, Glimmer. That's a lot of TP rotations. They do have chains. Emo might be in trouble here actually with the surge onto the troll wall. It's going to enable that chase potential, and unfortunately for Emo, he doesn't have any rotations just yet. The last hit route before he can get the waveform over. A little bit greedy there, waiting for that last. No, he's trying to get as close to the tower as possible, but if he waveformed earlier, he definitely would have made it over. I'm surprised that he actually held on to that waveform for as long as he did there, but they will lose the Morphling, and straight away we'll probably see them try and put some pressure on the tower with the Troll Waller getting pressured down bot. But we already see Ollie. He's just going to follow the Troll at the moment. I mean, he was soaking up mid, but because this bottom tower is getting pressured in, Ollie's just going to try and be the one to protect it for as long as possible here. He does also have that second point in the Illumina, but Invictus Gaming, they're going to be able to trade towers at a very good rate. They do pop shapeshift for that kill, as we see Emo kind of hunting around the backline here. Still wants to try and find a kill here, but they're going to be able to take the T1 tower top before Dai get this bottom one. It looks like Coddle's already out of the area though, so won't be able to put too much emphasis on being able to protect that. But you already see the movement. Radiant, they're going to do a fast pace kind of play to wrap on mid. They don't have shapeshift though, which is the issue. And still a long way away until they have the Serpent Wards, but you see the pressure that Radiant are able to make at the moment. I'm just really worried for Dai's damage output. And Sally does have Necro, who's actually even going to commit the Stampede here. Okay. But Dai really, this is the thing that I think they're going to struggle with damage. Like, I feel like it's pretty much just the Troll Warlord. Of course, sorry, Dazzle early on, but I feel like it's going to get to the stage where you're predominantly relying on your Troll. And they just don't have catch right now. Like, how are you going to keep a Morphling in place when you're going up against... how are you going to keep a Morphling, Lycan? They've got Centaur, Stampede. Coddle's so goddamn annoying with Blinding Light and Will-O-Wisp. Like, I feel like these fights are just so awkward for EHOME to actually take. We will see a nice movement down towards the bottom outpost with that 10-minute interval coming through. But Karka is able to get the Shackles. It is on the position for Ember, though, as we see Ollie getting beat down. The Stick Charges might give him enough time to allow Emo to output the damage into the Troll Warlord. He's going to waveform aggressively here. Nothing to say. Stacking up the further charges. We see why, even bringing down the support on the backline, but still Morphling has his strength morph to play around with the waveform back up in a couple of seconds. He'll secure the kill onto the Troll Warlord. And our Fly is even going to try and show up as well, straight on top of Waiki. Faith Beyond, he drops the wall here. He's still going to be careful. I mean, they have the outpost control. Fly is going to be able to pop the shapeshift, but now with the surge, getting bloody blocked by the own creeps here. Xingqiu, I mean, he doesn't have the remnant. Fly, he wants his kill. Faith Beyond's going to do as best as he can to be able to body block. Very nicely done there, but looks like this will force Invictus Gaming back. So we see 2 for 3. Couple supports falling, but the big kill is the Troll Warlord. Nothing to say was around top of the net worth. Now Morphling's been able to take over that. They have done a very good job. JT is actually going to man fight here, forcing Nothing to Say away. Looks like Radiant is making a movement here, whether they smoked or not. But it looks like they had the catapult wave, Serpent Wards as well. Morphling's aggressive waveform. He's just going to have to be careful here. They don't really want to Stampede to be able to protect him, but the Troll Warlord, that's who they want to go on here. But the ultimate being on cooldown, they give him a little bit of time with the disruption, but he's still trapped inside the Will-O-Wisp. The Serpent Ward's outputting enough for the damage as well to find the kill, but JT's not done. Straight on top of Xingqiu. He's got 2 remnants to work around with the protection coming through on the backline. We'll be able to keep him alive. Unfortunately, the Hex from Karka still only level 1. He does have the Arcane Rune though. But the lockdown, level 1 Shackles, level 1 Hex, just not enough as we see. I mean, they find a T1 Tower, they find a kill over on the Troll Warlord, and in the meantime, the big bad wolf farming up the jungle here. Fly. Necro 2's now delivered. He didn't want to show up to that fight because he didn't have the full Necro books. Just a really nice movement coming through Invictus Gaming. I mean, they're well aware that they can still take these engagements without the Lycan having an impact, with being a little bit passive in the jungle. No, I just like what they did there. It's the fact that they had the Serpent Wands. Like, what Radiant are going to do next is wait till they have their ultis. How close to some items? Like, probably Lycan, probably Lycan Necro 3. And that's about it. And then they'll probably smoke up once they have Serpent Wards as well. They'll smoke, try and get some vision down at the top side of the map, and drop Serpent Wards and take the tower. That's what I think they'll try and do, because that's the next objective for them. And Radiant have a very good way to be able to take objectives across the map. You want to try and suffocate them. Suffocate Dire as much as possible. Because I feel like there's someone that's going to need a lot of farm. A team that will. And I actually think Faith Beyond okay, so I was gonna say, I think Faith Beyond might have to go for a blink like very early, otherwise they don't have a way to start the fight. Like maybe you just have the Ember Spirit playing super aggressive. Like maybe it just like kind of goes in, chains, gets out, and then plays like a, I mean, I know that's how Ember likes to play, but it feels like he has to play very still sacrificial. But they're gonna have an attempt. JT, they got support on the back line now with the shapeshift coming through. Unfortunately, the Surge is on cooldown, so they'll find why. The 3 Necro books should be enough to find the kill. He's even gonna put him under as well. So there we go. There's the movement coming from Radiant, and they got Surf and Watts as well. So they didn't smoke. Instead, they kind of just ran brute force into EHOME. Now Firefly's taking a fair bit of damage here. Does have to be careful, but they just want to try and secure the tower as best as they can. And yeah, I mean, this tower's going to take a bunch of damage here when the supports don't have the greatest wave shoving potential. I guess they didn't feel... The issue is they used the shapeshift, so they couldn't really... If Dire contested that tower push, then they wouldn't have the shapeshift, so they didn't feel comfortable with being able to drop the wards. And Emo's still farming. They know how ahead they are right now. It's the fact that they got a kill and was able to put pressure on the map and force a lot of movements from EHOME to now come towards his top side and maybe try and D-ward in the meantime as well. Now you're just giving a bunch of space to them. Like Firefly's going to wait till the ultimate's back on, back up. Emo's going to try and get the E-Blade. So this could be a time for EHOME to be able to make a movement across the map. Their big timing is Sylar with Mech. That's going to give them a whole lot of sustain, and Faith Beyond with his Crimson as well. So these 2 items, very, very huge for the team fight. Just the amount of kind of damage you're going to be able to block. And we also see Nothing to say he's got the Diffusal Blade coming out. So we're going to see a big clash soon. A very big clash is about to occur. And it's the issue is on who's going to come out on top. Like, this is my big issue, that I feel like they're going to struggle die with being able to take these team fights, but Xingqiu can probably do as best as he can to keep the lane shoved out. This is the only issue with not having like even a point in Flame Guard. Like even 1 point just so you could shove out the lanes. Because right now, I mean, Slight without any items doesn't do a whole lot of damage 15 into the game on creep, so... And they're going to attempt to wrap around, and they're always in the area, unfortunately, with the Coddle. It looks like Coddle was trying to bait on the creep wave there, but well aware of the shenanigans is Xingqiu. Now this opens up mid. Emo's going to be careful here. They don't have the greatest lockdown, but the Surge is going to be able to follow up. Almost burst down the troll wall up, and now he's completely trapped with a couple of roots coming through. Beautifully done from EHOME. That's a great way to execute the little pick off there. I think he had to use it on himself. Unfortunately, he was not maxed out to be able to burst down the troll. So another good way to be able to take this. So they will get their second tier 1 tower, but in the meantime, top is a lot of pressures coming through. JT actually doesn't have a blink, so he's just going to be able to TP up pretty much in their faces. Once Morphling respawns, I think they go for Dire. What did they use there? Walls down, pretty much not a lot. Even Battle Trance got used, so there was a couple of things. They could make a fast-paced movement and go top because they know Dire tried to D-ward this and miss. So they still have this advantage in the Observe Ward. They've got another one down bot, but it seems like Radiant aren't really too content with playing around this bottom side. It's more just to help give information to enable the team to be able to farm in the jungle. And they're actually going to Roche. Okay. So the Sentry will be able to D-ward this. Xingqiu's going to have a good understanding that they made a movement throughout the jungle. Yeah, he sees it the last second here. How are they getting... Oh, he's got the Necros inside the pit. I was going to say, how are they getting that? But they're going to try and scout it out. Remember, wall's still on cooldown. They got the Serpents as well. Running inside the pit here is going to be difficult. Emo, he'll take the Ages. Lycan's a little bit weak here, unfortunately. He just popped that shapeshift, so I don't know if Radiant really want to continue, especially now that JT doesn't find the initiation. We get a hold back in the chains. We'll have the Hoof Stomp available once again though, but Emo tries to assassinate the Shadow Demon, forced to put himself under now with the Banishment, but they drop the wall. A lot of damage. Hoof Stomp won't actually connect on anyone now with the Will-O-Wisp. Gonna zone him on the back line as we see Troll wall it straight on top of Firefly. They've got the Stampede to kite the Troll. They're actually gonna turn around. If they can burst him down before the Battle Trance, they won't be successful with that. Nothing to say, able to get the ultimate up, but Hex completely kiting him. There's no damage output coming through right now, and Emo, he's still got the Aegis, so Dire, they're forced to retreat. A fight they are not able to take. A couple of ultimates do get traded out there. But a very good kind of poke and prod. You see that EHOME really are lacking the sort of lockdown they need. Like, it feels like if they can't take, I mean, Troll until he gets a BKB, yeah. I was gonna say, like, they have to burst someone through, like, Vac Wall and Troll Surge. But even through Troll Surge, he's gonna get kited by the Radiant lineup. I just struggle to see... It's gonna feel so awkward with them being able to take engagements, and JT might even just cut this bottom wave here. Damn, that's a baller move right there. Is he going to? Let's see. Yeah, he is. Double edge only 2, but unfortunately... Oh, he used the Hoof Stomp the wrong time. Alright, so what do they got? Neutral item wise, nothing too much, but looks like both teams are just gonna try and trade tier 2 towers here in the meantime. Dire, they still do push relatively fast. I mean, we see Troll's actually got Yasha. Sorry, I didn't actually see the Yasha. I thought he was going to go straight BKB after the Diffusal, but oh, Faith Beyond. He's got Surge available, but Emo might just blow up the Darkseer before there's any rotations. Troll's going to TP in the middle of this. Actually forced to cancel, so this is a fight Radiant can definitely take now. Troll's not going to be there for a period of time here if they want to try and contest this. As we see Emo, aggressive waveform, has the protection of the Morph, Replicate coming through, but he's still going to be careful. The waveform being on cooldown, playing around with the strength. JT ready to counter initiate as well if they ever group up, and now with them aggressively on the higher ground. Karka's going to try and turn, drop the Serpent Wards along with the Will-O-Wisp. Perfectly placed. JT finds 3 on the back line as well. Troll finally able to show off there, but another nice pushback with the Blinding Light. EHOME, they get the full workaround with the Will-O-Wisp, perfectly controlling them. JT though will have some help coming through from the Morphling. Shotgun protects him for a little bit longer now, but they're going to be careful. Radiant, they did use a couple of ultimates. If they can kite the fight back on their higher ground, they have the Serpent Wards, they have the Observer as well. They know that they did kind of use a fair amount for that first engagement to be able to kill the Ember. And even though they still have the Aegis, a fight getting taken where the Serpent Wards can't have any action, and especially where they can kind of pin them on the higher ground. We'll see what they can do, but Dire are having a lot of sustain right now, which I thought they'd either... I either thought Darkseer would go Blink because they needed the initiation, or he's just going to go like a mass amount of utility with the Dazzle and Darkseer combined. But right now they don't have a guaranteed way to be able to kill the Will-O-Wisp. Like, until Troll gets BKB, but Troll really doesn't want to be using BKB to hit the Will-O-Wisp. Like, this is a hero that heavily relies on using that full BKB duration, like kind of with Battle Trance or paired up with the immunity, just so you are not getting kited. Because as soon as that BKB, I mean, the lower the stacks are, I should say the seconds, the more difficult it is for Nothing to Say to take these engagements and honestly just the fights in general for EHOME. We see that IG just slowly, very methodically increasing this net worth lead. It's up to about 7,000 now. Uh-oh. What's the probability? It's about even, but at the moment, I mean, it's so difficult to be able to see the perfect way that Dire can take the fight without the CC to hold anyone in place after kind of the Vac Wall. It's just BKB, that's it. BKB on Troll, but you see Radiant are being able to play aggressive enough where the Troll can't really get enough time to take these engagements. But there we go, that's it. So Ember's just the one to fall. A lot of ultimates do get forced out there, but looks like Radiant, I mean, still Emo's just farming up a storm with this Sages. Like, top of the net worth, 5, 2, and 2. Last hits doing very well in that graph as well, or I should say the chart. And, you know, IG, if they wanted to, they can just kind of play this around where we're just going to use the Aegis to farm. I don't think they will. I think they might still take an engagement before the Aegis ends, because if they win the team fight, Radiant will just absolutely obliterate the buildings. You have Lycan, Centaur's incredibly strong as well with the return damage, retaliate, and then you've got Serpent Warheads, you've got Emo's Morphling that is just a beam onto buildings if he can be full agi. So yeah, if Dire lose one fight, they're really going to struggle. So I would not be surprised if IG want to smoke up kind of as soon as the Aegis is going to time out. They are kind of close to the Halberd, kind of close to the Assault Cuirass. A couple of items that they're lacking right now, which they might wait for the timing. Even Manta looks like from Emo is going to be the next item. I mean, the Manta is... There's no Spirit Vessel coming out this game, so it's just the chains. Chains the main thing. The root from the troll, the evasion as well is always really nice to be able to deal with. So, damn, you see how much damage that actually did. Missed the Necro books, but good TP'd. Foxy. How many last hits has Doxy got? 89. He's very... dude, what? Shaman's got 64? And Karkar's going for a BKB. I love that. Like, he's got the cast range, especially once you get 15. Like, I think you just leave JT with the initiation, go for a BKB. If you get, like, 7 seconds shackle, of course, I know that gets increased by 2.5 at the level 20 talent, but if you get a 5-second max stun onto the troll, I'd honestly say that IG have won the fight by then. If Troll's getting kited by a full duration shackle, then I think these team fights are going to be very, very difficult. But we do see Aegis timeout here, so Invictus Gaming won't get anything out of it. But like I said, they might just wait till they have their items. Assault Cuirass picked up. Emo has the Manta. Ollie's got the Glimmer Cape coming out. And they're going to smoke up. They're going to wrap around, it looks like. So the T2's getting shoved in. They're not going to show anyone. They're going to bait the creep wave, as we see up top, though. Sylar, he does have Faith Beyond in the backline, though, with a little help coming through from the pipe. They're going to drag him back, but the Willow is straight on the high ground, so any TP rotations straight into the ball of light here. They find the Dazzle. It does have a buyback available. Even Lycan's going to show up with a Shapeshift here. They don't have a tier 2 to protect them, and now the Darks is getting shredded with the crits. Forced to buy back here, but they'll drop the Serpent once it looks like IG. They want to double down on this engagement right now. Firefly trying to hunt the backline. He's got to be careful if he does get rooted, because the rest of his team have disengaged. He's got a little bit of the duration just left, but now with the surge, nothing to say. Look to follow up. Perfectly placed, however. The Necronomicon's there to be able to dispel off the surge, so it is... They do lose the Shaman there. They're actually still chasing. Firefly's going to have to do some tricky movements through here to be able to stay alive, and unfortunately, they get the vision? They don't. Oh, nicely done. He's out of there. Oh, that's a beautiful play. Very, very nicely done. They walk higher ground. In the meantime, tier 2 mid is pretty much getting a beating there. They didn't do any damage on top, but they do find a couple of kills there. The important thing is that Dazzle also bought back. What the f... That thing looks wild. What? Can I go in the bubble? I can. Oh, jeez. I don't know what the heck I just saw there, but... That's really... This has been a ward for about 4 minutes. And they haven't even cleared the camp by then. Goes to show where they've been farming. Radiant kind of been on that die side of the map. Is EHOME, they're going to push outside the base, but EHOME is... They going to be fighting into a double damage room right now on the Morphling. So something you really want to do, especially when JT finds a 3-man initiation onto the backline here. They're going to try and take the fight here. Firefly with the shapeshift closes the backline, able to get the Hex before the Remnant away. Now Sylar's going to be the target as well. They've got a way to cancel the TP without a buyback available. He's dead for 75 seconds, and EHOME, they get shredded throughout this engagement. Troll's able to get back inside the base, but oh, this is 2 sets of racks, I think. They have a DD on Morphling, like... Unfortunately, it is glyphed up, so we're not really seeing the damage. Hang on, give us a second. Oh my lord, are they going to end it? JT's like, oh, I may as well get some retaliate stacks, may as well do a little bit of damage, and I mean, this is just a full set of racks now gone, and they can go top. They can easily get 2 full sets of racks here. They know the Dazzle doesn't have a buyback available. JT, I mean, look how much damage JT just did on a tier 4 tower. That's unhealable damage right now. And if Mo tries to find the Shadow Demon, won't be successful with that, however. A quick disruption, and now he does have to be careful. They're able to drop the Will-O-Wisp. Nothing to say, actually. Straight on top of the Lycan here with the Glimmer Cape. Gives him enough protection. Emo actually stuck in the Serpent Wards, and now with the Root, unable to use the Stampede to be able to get out. So Emo's going to try and man-fight here. Able to stay alive long enough until the waveforms back off cooldown. JT trying to find the counter initiation on top of the Ember Spirit. Unfortunately, does not time it. But they're happy with this. They're going to disengage. They'll back out of there. Or will they fast enough? Not Xingqiu, still just can't find anyone. They do have the ward on Firefly though, so it looks like the Lycan. I mean, he's going to have Shapeshift up in a couple of seconds here. I think he's going to be fine. I mean, they've got the Banishment. They need Roots coming through from Nothing to Say, otherwise he just doesn't die. They get the chains to back, and he will drop. Wait, Shadow Demon just got ripped apart. I didn't even... What? Was it the Wolves? Wow, Lycan just... like one hit the Shadow Demon there. Some beautiful stuff coming through for Invictus Gaming. A 19,000 net worth lead. Roshan is up as... they might... If they're watching the courier, they might actually know there's vision in the area, because they saw it before it got in the pit. But, I mean, the Coddle's a great way to be able to kind of slow down Roche, Coddle, and the Elder Titan. But they've got a ward exactly where he is. Now he's going to be in a bit of a pickle of a situation, to say the least. They don't have any detection just yet, so he's zoning them out of Roche. It looks like Radiant, they're not going to be able to take this engagement. So Dire, they do still hold on. They're going to try and attempt here, but I think they're a little bit too slow. Nothing to Say already has these further stacks coming through. With all no high ground. Ember is getting shredded through. The disruption gives him a little bit of protection. Karka even pops the BKB, but look at the Morphling illusions. So much damage. Perfectly placed wall from Darks here. Now Nothing to Say with the Battle Trance pop. BKB as well. All on the first live here, trying to get on top of Oli, but if Nothing to Say dives a little bit too far, it just opens up the backline supports as we see Firefly and Emo rip Darkseer and the Shadow Demon apart here. Nothing to Say, still going to try and man-fight, but he's going to be careful. The Helmet, the Hoopstomp, completely kiting him. He's got another life to work around with, so the second life's going to come through. But it doesn't matter. Look at all the space they're being able to create here, and now even the Will-O-Wisp is going to get dropped, and Troll, he's just going to watch on, so sad at the moment, knows he can't win this engagement, knows he can't disengage. Firefly is playing pretty aggressive here. He does have the Greater Fairy Fire now with the support coming through. JT finds a Hoopstomp just on top of the Ember Spirit, but it's out before he's able to get the slide off. He's got the Grave for protection, but it looks like Firefly himself has his own, thanks to the replicate coming from Emo, but he doesn't stay alive long enough. However, the poison's going to tick him out. Sylar does find the kill. The big thing is that Dire just lose the entire advantage they have of ages. And it looks like the good thing is they still have the T2 tower down bot. The bad thing is it looks like Radiant are looking to assassinate one of the EHOME heroes here as we find someone. It's going to be the Darkseer up to the northern side here. Emo's going to have plenty of damage. Or the Grave, actually, just in time from Sylar. Tries to time the E-Blade, but the Grave is going to last long enough. They gotta back off. I don't know. Emo, he knows that the disruption's down on cooldown, and JT on the back line. They do have Stampede. They're still gonna hang around in the area here. Emo's gonna find the Shadow Demon. No buyback available. Now with the Remnant forward, chains also off the mark here. They'll only catch Karka. They do have a sentry in the area, and Karka's actually going to turn with the BKB popped. 3 points up in the shackles, so it's not the full duration here. They're trying to just right-click him down, but it looks like JT even actually commits now. He's got the spider legs, will be able to make it to the low ground, but they still have vision of him currently. JT's in a bit of a pickle here, and it looks like, unfortunately, a pickle centaur is... Oh, okay, never mind. Spider legs, high ground, doesn't have mana. Ollie's going to help out here. Unfortunately, without the chakra, so still JT unable to be able to TP away. They do put a lot of attention onto the centaur. Like, he wasted a lot of time there. But does that really help you at all? I guess it's more of an annoying thing in the end, as we do see Dire get a couple of kills here. You know, they'll find the Shaman, they find the Centaur, about a 1,700 gold swing for them. Still a very, very convincing advantage right now coming through from Invictus Gaming. We just see how much Dire are starting to struggle, and they've got a sentry, so Emo... This is the thing about the Shadow Demon versus the Morphling, is that the project, you know, we've seen it time and time again this game, is that the projectile animation on both the Adaptive Strike and the E-Bleed is a little bit too long, unfortunately. So the Shadow Demon is, if he's quick enough, which why a TI winner is definitely quick enough to be able to do, you're able to get the disruption off to prevent that quick burst. And this is nice as well. The tier 3 neutral items getting picked up. They've got a good old repair kit, so it looks like they're going to try and use one charge and get the tower, the tier 4, kind of back around some respectable standards instead of down at the lower scummy levels of health there. But IG, they've kind of been proking and prodding around this kind of mid and top side, even though they've had 2 sets of racks advantage already. So it looks like they'll finally make their way towards the bottom side here. They'll try and close out the game with the tier 2 going to end up falling. But it looks like Dire, they're going to try and take a stance here. However, they do need Faith Beyond. They cannot take this bottom engagement without the Darks here. Is that an Ags? Oh my lord, they have the Ags. Who's on the higher gun though, JT? He's got the Lotus. Pipe as well if he needs to use it. Just kind of scouting out now, but here comes the double big bad wolves here. Emo, look at the blue wolf go straight on top of the backline with the waveform aggressively here. Disruption gives him a little bit of protection, but now the troll wall, it's the person who's the main target here with the grave. Gives him some protection. Can he get the BKB out fast enough? However, the car chains will disengage, and now they can't do anything. Emo's still trying to find the Shadow Demon with a couple of crits coming through. Melts through the support, and now without the buyback onto the troll wall at EHOME, they just have to disengage and try and get as many heroes out as possible. But still, they do have the illusion, so Faith Beyond's going to be able to find the Shaman here, but you see the work that Emo's been able to output. Shotguns, not enough to find the kill on top of the Darkseid here, so he will be able to scurry away, or will he? Because Morphling, he does have the replicate. So the surge on surge action here, but the good thing about Emo is that he does also have the waveform for some mobility, but it looks like Emo, he's going to give up. Objective-based gaming at the moment. Why not we just walk down bottom as ZinQ? Slight, not going to come out fast enough, fearing that with the counter. Emo straight on top of him with the burst, and but does have a buyback available. The key thing is that Dire's damage is all with the troll wall right now. Once again with the wolf spite, JT just hunting the backline, and Y has to go back inside the base here, and now Sylar, he'll just be the full brunt of the force in the meantime, and they're just beating onto the objectives. There's actually a centaur in the Lycan as well, so it's not the Morphling. Instead, they're going to use Emo to be able to beat onto the objective. Sylar has to pop the BKB. Here comes the second Lycan, the Fly. Forcing them back here, an aggressive waveform. Troll's going to be up in a couple seconds, but looks like it's not fast enough to help out the Shadow Demon. And now JT will find the Ember as well. They're going to be careful here because now it's full sets of Megas. We got the tier 4s under threat as well. EHOME looking to have a miracle of a base hold, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to be the case. Maybe a couple more roots coming through with the back as well. They find the Lycan. Okay, nothing to see. Pops the BKB. Protection of the grave as well, but unfortunately do they have detection to find JT? That's the question with the Searing Chain. Holds him in place with a quick hex. Now the turnaround. EHOME melts down. They lose the troll. Emo just a beautifully played Morphling. Still man fighting as well. He's got the Manta if need be to be able to get out of any of the lockdown. JT with a follow. Finds a hoof stomp onto 2. Emo's just got way too much damage right now. They unable to deal with the Morphling, and it shows. They'll pay the consequence. An 18-2-5 Morphling beyond godlike spree right now for Emo and Invictus Gaming. They're going to be able to take game 1, ladies and gentlemen, off the back of an incredible draft there. Looks like EHOME maybe just a little bit too much in their heads. Yeah, we saw that they had to kind of swap up the Ember, put him on a position 4. Who knows, maybe they were thinking about that already, because I was like, Darkseid with the Dazzle offlane sounds not very good. So maybe they were already kind of contemplating putting the Ember there. But as soon as the Morphling got picked up, they're like, nah, Ember cannot be played into the Morphling matchup. It's just not good at all. Morph will beat that matchup mid, and regardless, Morphling did relatively well. Even Emo playing down at the bottom lane instead of the middle lane. So wonder if EHOME just go for a little bit too experimental in the draft, if that's so to say. And in the end, Invictus Gaming, they're going to be able to take game 1, ladies and gentlemen. So a little bit of a break in between, probably about 10 minutes until we'll see our second match of the best of 3. Invictus Gaming with the early advantage going to the next game.